The challenges of the 21st century are vast and compounding, from the effects of globalization and population growth to climate change and increasing resource scarcity. These issues require large systemic changes in society and our economy. Only by working together can we find solutions to these challenges. For those working in the field of sustainability, we know that changing the systems and cultures that need it most can be a mighty challenge. This is particularly true in the absence of effective leadership or comprehensive planning. And there's often a tendency to hide these challenges to paint a rosy story of success. But not being open and transparent about these challenges prevents progress and masks valuable learning opportunities. By sharing my sustainability journey with you, I want to provide you with new insights that you can use to begin working on sustainability, whether it's in your organization or your personal life. My sustainability journey began in the vinyl industry, where our organization, the Vinyl Institute, was grappling with how to address the industry's fragmented approach to sustainability. As a trade association representing vinyl resin manufacturers, VI was in a unique position at the top of the value chain to drive progress on these issues. The industry had already made a lot of progress addressing some of its sustainability issues like reducing emissions, water, and energy, but there was no comprehensive strategy or vision for the industry as a whole. This led to different sectors of the industry working on different, sometimes redundant or conflicting projects. And there also wasn't an agreed upon definition of sustainability or attempt to define what it meant to the industry. Sustainability is a relatively new concept, and the first concerted attempt to define it was in 1987 with the publication of the Brundtland Report that defined sustainability as a kind of development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. As the sustainability movement has matured, a more comprehensive definition has emerged, and many businesses tend to define sustainability as a triple bottom line, which places an emphasis on three distinct pillars: people, planet, and profit. We see in this model that sustainability lies in the middle of these three components. It's a delicate balance between all three and the convergence of economic, social, and environmental factors. Your approach to sustainability will be unique to your organization, your goals and objectives. And to this end, sustainability is entirely context dependent, and the approach you take depends on the system that you're working with. To fully understand how sustainability impacts us and what we can do about it, we need to understand it in the context of our organizations, taking into account their unique set of challenges, opportunities, capabilities, and stakeholders. This will help make a more compelling case for sustainability that resonates with your audience. Dr. George Basile, a leader in the field of sustainability, defines this approach to sustainability leadership into 4 steps. Number 1, creating a new awareness of sustainability challenges. Number 2, creating a vision. 3, setting a baseline. And 4, moving to action. As the main trade association for our industry, VI had the opportunity to create a new awareness of sustainability challenges facing our industry, and then align those different approaches so that the industry was moving forward in the same direction. This meant working with our downstream sectors and other industry stakeholders already working on some of these issues, but there wasn't an established platform for doing so. That's when we decided to create the Vinyl Sustainability Council as a platform for engaging our stakeholders and promoting more sustainable development. To raise awareness of sustainability among our industry, we began by identifying all the different downstream trade associations that represented the various segments of our industry, such as PVC pipe, vinyl siding, windows, doors, cable, wire and cable insulation, medical products, etc. Next, we brought all of those 12 downstream associations together for a meeting in October 2016 to establish the Vinyl Sustainability Council, or the VSC. Christian Barkin, our VP of Sustainability, began by providing a brief history and overview of the sustainability movement, including commonly used terms, definitions, and examples from other industry sustainability initiatives that he had worked on. We also used the meeting to explore some of the industry sustainability issues and raise the awareness among our group. For example, we informed the group about issues like the loss of global biodiversity. We referenced research like the World Wildlife Fund's Living Planet Report, which analyzes the state of biodiversity and humanity's ecological footprint. With our rapidly growing population, the report predicts that by 2050 we'll have nearly 10 billion people living on the planet, meaning that if nothing changes and if current rates of consumption continue, we'll be consuming 3 planets worth of resources by 2050. We also discussed the decline in natural resource availability, including work from groups like the American Chemical Society that showed the declining supply of basic elements on the periodic table. Discussing these trends and sustainability issues helped the group form a better understanding of what sustainability was all about and how we could apply it to our industry and their companies. These discussions also raised other important issues about how the industry could use sustainability to better position itself for the future. For example, advances in hydraulic fracturing and the US natural gas boom that began in 2005 had helped reduce costs for the vinyl industry, and it was growing. But this also meant reduced costs for the polyethylene industry, which was a direct competitor to the vinyl industry. Ultimately, we use this as a point of leverage to promote the sustainability strategy as a solution to this issue, among others. And in your own project, understanding where these different points of leverage lie and how to use them can help you better develop a more compelling message for those you want to bring along on your sustainability journey. Mapping your different stakeholders is an effective way to understand their needs and where different points of leverage may lie. For example, who do you want to involve in your sustainability project? What will you be asking of them? What kind of skills and knowledge do they need? And what is their relationship to other stakeholders you're going to be working with? Being able to answer some of these questions will help you better understand how to leverage these relationships to the benefit of your project and your team. It will also help you identify groups you may have initially missed. One area where we could have improved on here was the diversity of our stakeholders. As time went on, we involved more diverse organizations to include a broader segment of the value chain, yet we were still speaking predominantly to vinyl executives. What about other stakeholders outside the industry? So for example, consumer advocacy groups, what might they have thought of our sustainability strategy? Or environmental nonprofits. They had a vested interest in this industry and our project, but they weren't directly involved in its development. One area where VSC did consider broader stakeholder perspectives was the creation of our materiality assessment. The materiality assessment is a process for evaluating different sustainability issues relevant to your industry or organization. As you develop your own sustainability projects, you'll need to decide which of these issues to tackle first. And conducting a materiality assessment can help you create a baseline understanding of the different issues, which you can then use to develop your strategy, including goals and targets. VSC began the materiality assessment by surveying both key internal and external stakeholders to measure their perception of the industry. For example, we surveyed vinyl resin producers, product manufacturers, distributors, compounders, etc. We then surveyed groups outside the industry like architects, designers, material specifiers, codes and standards professionals, and others impacting the selection of vinyl products. The purpose was to identify the industry's key issues, prioritize them, and then develop goals and targets addressing each one. There were a lot of issues identified in our survey. So rather than just doing a little bit in each area, we chose to narrow our focus so that we could have a greater impact and choose the sustainability issues that our stakeholders found to be most critical. We then divided these into different impact categories, including landfill diversion, health and safety, and emissions. Next, we use this information to develop specific goals and key performance indicators under each impact category. For example, in emissions, we set goals for showing reductions in our members' plant emissions each year. In health and safety, we established criteria for both worker and consumer safety practices, among others. In landfill diversion, we began with an industry-wide survey to better understand the different challenges and opportunities for recycling more vinyl materials. For industry stakeholders wishing to support the sustainability strategy, they needed to show improvement in each one of these impact categories each year. Not only did the materiality assessment help us identify our key stakeholders and our key issues, it also helped identify where in the value chain those issues were most critical and which stakeholders were most concerned about them. And this became really the basis for our strategy development and stakeholder outreach. The second step in Dr. Basile's process is creating a vision for a sustainability future. Creating such a vision among diverse stakeholders is no easy task, but building off of shared values can point you in the right direction. There are many variables that you can account for, so the idea with a vision is that no matter what scenario or circumstance arises, everyone still knows the direction they're heading. For VSC, we needed to create a vision of a more sustainable industry that was broad enough to apply to the entire industry and all its different sectors, but specific enough to apply to each company and organization. This meant framing it in terms that would resonate with our audience of industry professionals. For example, we knew that most of our audience was composed of vinyl industry executives who worked in the industry for decades. Most of them were middle-aged men who had conservative political views and valued competition and efficiency. This meant that to effectively market our sustainability strategy, we needed to frame the discussion around its ability to improve the company's bottom line. So discussing its impact on improving efficiencies, brand performance, and return on investment were critical to resonating with these stakeholders. Ultimately, VSC chose to define sustainability as, quote, doing more with less in light of declining resources. We then marketed the strategy as a process for driving innovation and continuous improvement. Now, this wasn't a very lofty goal, but we were just getting started and we needed something to galvanize the industry. Among VI staff, our vision for the VSC was to have it run as an independent organization separate from the Vinyl Institute. This would give us more freedom to work on various sustainability efforts and keep the influence of VI members in check. For me, this approach was about ensuring an open and transparent process that involved addressing all stakeholders and their concerns beyond just industry and close allies that we had been speaking with. Messaging is important, but so too is leadership. We all have a role to play in addressing society's sustainability challenges, but this will require that we set aside politics and take an open, transparent, and collaborative approach to addressing these issues. We need strong leaders who will challenge the status quo and seek out new opportunities for collaboration and stakeholder engagement. At the VI, our long-term CEO, Dick Doyle, was instrumental in driving a push for sustainability and galvanizing the industry behind our approach. But we hit a major roadblock when Mr. Doyle retired in 2018 and we got a new CEO. The leadership that we had under Mr. Doyle and the persistent focus on sustainability issues and improving the industry's performance took a back seat. Our new CEO had no previous sustainability experience, but he was eager to please the VI board and other key stakeholders. His main focus became on reducing costs, which allowed important sustainability issues to go overlooked. It also meant that our goal of an independent sustainability council was no more. Instead, VI would maintain ownership and control of the VSC and our strategy. This meant that VI members could exert more control over the process, the sustainability projects that we chose to address, and the stakeholders that we chose to engage with. It also meant that once VSC became self-funded, VI could recover some of its investment in the program. And while this made good business sense, it was contrary to the open and transparent process that we had originally envisioned, and which is so critical to credible sustainability initiatives. As I noted earlier, sustainability is entirely context dependent, so the approach you take depends on what you want to accomplish. But it's critical that no matter what you do, you have an open and transparent process to establish credibility in your process and the people that are involved. Listening to only one group of stakeholders will cause you to miss out on valuable perspectives and new information that could help you build a more effective and compelling strategy. From an outsider's perspective, it may appear that the development of our strategy was on track. However, changes in the VI leadership and the resulting changes in our strategy made it clear that our industry needed a clearer vision of success. Without an independent council to work openly and transparently on these sustainability issues, we were being far less effective than possible. We were also excluding some of the external stakeholders like NGOs from the development and implementation of our goals and key performance indicators. There were times when I raised my concerns about these issues, but I was told that eventually we would get to it. We would address it at some point. Had these organizations been involved in the process, they likely would have raised other important sustainability considerations that we weren't addressing. Things like ingredient disclosure, chemical exposure, toxicity, and plastic marine debris. Although these issues had been concerns of the industry for years, the sustainability strategy made no comprehensive plan to study or address these issues directly. In most cases, the only voices that we were hearing from on these issues were the companies producing said products and plastics. For me, success was getting VSC to a point of independence so that it could spread its wings. Having an independent VSC would have brought more trust and credibility to the process, so that it didn't just appear as an industry-run project or a marketing initiative. but rather a concerted effort to listen and learn from our stakeholders, especially those that we may disagree with. The strategy also suffered as a result of an overly broad definition of sustainability as doing more with less and a process of continuous improvement. Although this definition resonated with our industry stakeholders, it was too broad to make a significant impact. Instead of developing its own very broad definition of sustainability, the industry could have chosen a more tried and tested approach. Working with so many diverse stakeholders and competing ideas, it's easy to lose sight of your larger goal, but this can derail your sustainability project, and that's why it's so critical that we have a transparent and collaborative process from the beginning. For those seeking to build a more effective sustainability strategy, the Framework for Strategic Sustainable Development, or FSSD, is a valuable tool that can help. The approach is similar to the steps that we took developing our own strategy and begins by defining your system. For us, it was the vinyl value chain and included the larger petrochemical industry and the various stakeholders involved. The actions and tools were a result of a materiality assessment that we used to develop our goals and key performance indicators. But our principles principles for success and the strategic principles were less compelling. For the FSSD approach, success is defined by the 4 principles of sustainability, and that is that nature is not subject to systematically increasing concentrations of substances extracted from the Earth's crust, concentrations of substances produced by society, degradation by physical means, and in a sustainable society, people are not subject to conditions that systematically undermine the capacity to meet their needs. This systems approach to sustainability would have allowed us to better define the system in which we operate and identify the relevant risks and opportunities in our approach. This approach also allows the organization to better understand their internal organizations and key decision-making systems, as well as the external systems in which it operates, including different system interdependencies and societal expectations. Defining one system can also challenge an organization to redefine its definition of success by expanding those definitions beyond just financial performance to include other social and environmental considerations. By using the FSSD framework, we could have designed problems out of the system, including issues like plastic waste and chemical toxicity and exposure. Sharing the success and failures of your sustainability project can be scary, but cases like mine provide us all with valuable learning opportunities to make our sustainability projects and this world a better place. For me, the experience underscores the importance of an open, transparent, and collaborative approach to sustainable development. Had we expanded our engagement beyond just industry representatives, we could have better understood the issues facing all of our stakeholders, including consumers, whose perception of our industry ultimately becomes reality. And this would have established more credibility and more confidence in our approach, particularly among our detractors. I also would have advocated for a more comprehensive definition of sustainability, akin to the FSSD approach. Our definition of sustainability as doing more with less only required that our members show some sort of improvement in each of the impact categories, no matter how minuscule or insignificant it was. The sustainability strategy that we created was not a complete failure, and we did make progress advancing the concept of sustainability across the industry. Yet not having a more comprehensive, transparent process that considered all stakeholder perspectives left the process open to corruption and greenwashing. As you go forward in your own sustainability projects, remember the importance of this to the learning process so that we can all make more informed decisions about sustainability. Now it's time for you to go forward and share your sustainability journey in an open, transparent, and collaborative fashion.